Let's look at how to use a Volus pencil for wireframing a user interface. So you've installed Pencil, and this is the screen you get when you first start up. Very first thing we want to do is change the size of our page here. So right click, Properties, and you can select a size here. I've selected Compact Web Page. So, and the background we're going to leave it as transparent. For the page title, just for this example, we're going to type in search for game and click apply. The next thing to make life easier is we're going to install a private collection. So what is a collection first off? Well, collection is what you see here under collections, and there are various different collections you can use. The most popular one is probably the desktop sketchy GUI. It has a lot of things that you can drag and drop onto your user interface, box, line, HTML text, etc. So you can very easily drag shapes within a collection onto your user interface. To make it easier though, I've created a couple of private collections with the most common elements that I use. So rather than having to go through all these collections to find the one you want, you can just use my private collections. So to add a private collection, click on My Stuff, and we want to right click and go to Import New Private Collection. I've actually got two. First one I'm going to import is RoboCommon, and just click Install there. And that just has, I guess, basic elements for a user interface. Next one, import New Collection again, and RoboForm Elements, and install again. So you've got some form elements and also basic elements. So we're going to create a web page for this example, and it's a web page for searching for a particular game title. So the very first thing we're going to do is drag across some panes. So we're going to use panes for the layout, and I'll just drag across two. It's going to be a very simple layout. I'm going to have a navigation menu on the side here, and I'm going to have a header up the top. And it's quite simple just to resize these panes, just so I have a very basic layout. You of course can do a much more fancy layout than this. So I'm also going to label them, so you just double click on them, and I'm going to type in their header just so it's clear. I'll just drag it over a bit further. And also this is our navigation menu. After you've added a pane, just so you don't accidentally with your mouse move these panes around, just right click on them and go to locked. That'll prevent them from moving in the future. So right click and go to locked. So we've got a header, we've got a navigation menu. So this bit here, just the white background, is where our main content goes. So I'm going to drag across a H1. So this is using a HTML form element, H1, and I'm just going to put in there search for game. And for these other ones, actually I should probably use a H2 rather than just the text there. So I'll leave it in navigation menu just so it's clear about what the layout is that I've got here. And so I can just call this IGS Games is the name of the store. And this can just call this one menu. So I can also right click on these and lock the headers into position as well, which is handy because you can have a lot of elements on a screen and it's very easy to accidentally move the wrong one. So I've locked those, and I'm just going to create a very basic form. So I can drag across a label and also a text field from form elements. And I'm just going to have, this is going to be title. So I'm just doing this is actually a rich text box, and it's a little bit tricky in Pencil. To add a new line, click Shift Enter. And so I've got a new line there. You won't often need that, but if you just want to write on a new line, just enter Shift plus Enter key. That'll give you a new line. Another trick is for wrapping. By default it doesn't come with wrappings, but you can right click on it and go Fix Width. And once you go to Fix Width, you get this yellow square where you can adjust the width. So this is how you do wrapping. It's not that intuitive, but now the text, just write anything, the text will be wrapped at a certain width. Can make that a bit wider. So just a couple of tricks with Evola's pencil. Just Shift Enter for a new line and right clicking and going fix width for text wrapping. Okay, so the rest of the form, I'll just fix that one up and I'll just clear the text. I can put in a sample game, Call of Duty, of course, and just adjust it. And the final thing I'll add to my form is just a button, and rather than button, I'll call it submit. Okay, that's a very basic form. You can make sure your elements are aligned. So when you select a particular element, you get these ruler lines. You can see a blue line there that helps me align my elements. So that's very important. And also align your labels with your text fields as well. So we've got our basic search page. Now I'm going to create another page which is for search results. So the easy way, because I want this header and this navigation menu and the content area to be consistent across my website, I can right click on the page here, search for game, and click on duplicate. So that just creates a copy of my existing page. And the very first thing I'll do is just go to properties and change it. So this is, just call it search results. So this is going to have the results for my search. Remember, we locked this header before, so we have to unlock it to change it. So we can just type in there search results, and we'll get rid of the form and the button and the label, and we'll just assume we've got a table of results. So just find the table element and we'll drag that across and just change it. There is a set format for this table, but don't worry about that at the moment. We're just going to type in title there. Don't worry about the rest of it. You can play around with tables later. So search results, and it just says a simple table of our results. We might have actually COD, just abbreviating it now, COD 4 and COD Black Ops, something like that. Okay, so now we've got two pages. We can actually link these pages together. Now this is handy when you publish your mockup, and you can add a little bit of interactivity to your mockup. So you can right click on submit button here. This is on your search for game page, and go link to search result. So what we're doing, we're linking the clicking of this button to display another page search result. So you can see that working once we publish it. We can add other elements to our page as well. So over here we've got tabs. We might want some tab navigation as well as a menu navigation. We can add arrows for pointing out certain things, and also add little annotations or speech bubbles. So we can make some comments on this table. Maybe that will assist in helping the user understand how we're going to present our results in a table form. And a few other things here. You can actually have custom shapes as well. So this is my private collection here, which I created earlier. And I got all of these shapes bar one from here. So what I did to do that, I can add an extra, say I want to add this wind down frame to my personal collection. So I've dragged that across, and this wind down frame is under desktop sketchy GUI. So I've just dragged that. Now I can right click on this shape and go to add to my collections, and I can select RoboCommon or the other one and click on next. And I have to give it my own name, so you can give it a different name. So I'll just call it wind down. Now that will appear in my private collection here. So that's, you can add any of these shapes to your own collection, which can be handy. Just delete that one and the arrow. The other thing you can do is you can add, I guess, custom shapes to your own collection. And to do that, you have to drag across this bitmap image. You'll find that in this collections tab as well, but I've added it already to my own collection. Drag across bitmap image, and if you right click on this one and go to actions, and then load embedded image. So what we're going to do, we're going to link this shape, this bare shape, which says no image, to an actual image. So I've got one here, which is just a smiley. I actually created this one earlier. So there we go. This is my own custom shape now. I've actually already got it, but I can delete this one. My existing smiley, right click, delete the shape, and confirm that. I'll get rid of the win down as well. And I can add this smiley to my collection. So just right click, add to my collections, and add it to RoboCommon. Give it another name. So that name can be anything you want there. Finish. So now we have our own custom shapes. So if you're using a particular shape in many of your screens, you may want to create a custom shape. The final thing now is to export. So I'll just delete my smiley there, and I'll delete the annotation as well. Remember that these two pages are linked, search results and search for game. I went to submit and went to link to search results. So when I publish these as a web page, you will be able to actually click on this button and take you to the search results page. So just go up to document, and you've got several export options here. You've got export page as PNG, export document. So that's just an image, but export document. You can try PDF, but it may not work. It seems a bit buggy at the moment. But we're just going to select single web page. Click on next, and we're going to export both of our pages. Click next again, and we have to select a destination. We've only got one template here. Don't worry about that. But we're going to select the destination to export to, and that seems fine. Just exporting now. So let's have a look at those pages. So I've got index here. It's just a single page. Even though I had 2 pages in my pencil project, it's just produced a single page export. Okay, so here's the page. It just says exported, and there's my first page. Now when I actually click on that, submit, it'll just take me to the next page. So you have a little bit of interactivity there, which adds to the presentation of your wireframe. And that's it. That's the basics of using Evolus Pencil for wireframing and mockups.